Can everyone hear me? Can
Yes,
everyone hear
miss.
me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So as we were saying before, there are two types of objects. We have direct objects and we have indirect objects. An indirect object indicates someone or something to whom the direct object is related. وهون بنرجع لنقطة إنه ال indirect object بيعتمد على ال direct object. Usually it's a person or an animal expressed by a noun, pronoun, or phrase with dependent words. If there are two objects in a sentence, both direct and indirect ones, there are two ways you can structure them being the sentences. If there is an indirect object without a preposition in a sentence, a direct object should come after it. قلنا بحال indirect object وما عندنا preposition, the direct object بيجي بعد ال indirect object. وهاي example. Cindy gave me. Me would be our indirect object. A present would be our direct object. مش كان عندنا the first sentence direct object لحال. I think it was Cindy brought a present. So Cindy brought a present. Here's our subject, verb, object. هلا بهذا الحال we have our subject Cindy. Gave would be our verb. Me is our indirect object. A present would be our direct object. ليش we structured it indirect بعدين direct؟ عشان ما عندنا preposition. However, a direct object should come before an indirect object if we have the preposition to or the preposition for. For example, Cindy brought a present for me. So فهنا Cindy is our subject. Brought would be our verb. Present, this would be our direct object. And then we have the preposition for, and me would be our indirect object. So if I were to give you the sentence, Resha told a story. Resha told a story. Here is our subject, verb, object. Okay? Resha told a story. وطبعا هون بهذا الحال story would be direct object, a direct object. Now if I want to change the structure بدي أضيف عليه indirect object. بدي أحكي بس إن رشا حكت لي أنا القصة. شو رح نحكي؟
Rasha told me a story.
Resha told me a story. هذا الترتيب إيش؟ indirect بعدين direct ولا direct بعدين indirect؟
Indirect بس إنه بدون prepositions.
أيوة
يكون
very
أبد.
good. ولو زدنا preposition to.
Rasha told لا Rasha told a story to me.
Perfect. Resha told a story to me. So here, Resha told me a story. Resha is our subject. Told is our verb. Me, indirect object. So just put an I there. Story, direct object. Oops, direct object. And our second sentence, Resha told. Resha is our subject. Told is our verb. A story, direct object. Preposition to. Me would be our indirect object. ومثل ما قلنا أول إشي let me get rid of these scribbles.
بس معلش سؤال، لو بدنا نقول مثلا حكت لابنها رشا told her kid a story، يعني إنه ابنها هيك بنحكيها.
Rasha told her son a story, or you could say Rasha told a story to her son.
to her son.
So it'd be the same, بس إنه بدل me, we're switching out our pronoun, or not quite her pronoun. We're switching out me with her son. Oops, I accidentally told her son a
No,
story
okay.
without this A here. My mistake. Rasha told her son a story, or Rasha told a story to her son. And where was I going? Okay, so let's separate these a little bit. وزي ما قلنا ال indirect object بيعتمد على direct object. We can't have our sentence without our direct object. For example, Rasha told me a story. ما فينا نشطب إيش؟ We can't get rid of story.
the story.
It would be Rasha told me. هون صفى me became a direct object again. Rasha told me what, طيب? صفى, there's a question here. What did Rasha tell me? اتغيرت المعنى تماما. Maybe she told me a secret. Maybe she told me some gossip about someone. We don't know anymore. And same goes over here. Rasha told a story to me. We can get rid of these. We can get rid of our preposition. We can get rid of our indirect object. فينا ننهي الجملة هنا. Rasha told a story. This still has the same meaning. المعنى هي. Rasha told a story. رجعنا لإيش؟ رجعنا base sentence تاعتنا. Rasha told a story. Same meaning, same everything. Nothing has changed. Same goes for Cindy gave me a present. We can't get rid of present. رح يصفي Cindy gave me. Does this make sense?
Gave me what?
Exactly, gave me what? Cindy gave me, what did Cindy give me, طيب? We don't know. بس بالتالي Cindy brought a present for me. We can get rid of for me. عادي. And we can end it right here and the direct object. Cindy brought a present. هون وين ردينا رجعنا Cindy brought a present رجعنا
The
our
basic.
base sentence. Adding the indirect object is like adding an extra tidbit of information. The indirect object هو بيكون يعني I forgot what information يعني زي معلومات زيادة إلنا هذا. So we kind of understand a bit more about the situation, about what's going on. But I am so sorry. Let me put my phone on silent. So we were saying Cindy brought a present for me. For me here, indirect object. This is extra information. It is not necessary. It's nice to have. حلو يكون إياه. It helps us understand more about what's going on, but it is not obligatory or mandatory. مش إجباري وجوده. Meanwhile, Cindy brought a present. If we got rid of present and left for me, it doesn't make sense. Direct object, this is a must. هذا لازم إجباري يكون موجود ال direct object. How to structure basic English. It is important to note that sentences in English can be classified in two ways. Okay? Sentences can be classified. By the way, classified يعني يتصنفوا. They can be classified by their functions, استخدامهم, if they are declarative, interrogative, imperative, exclamation or exclamatory, and negative sentences. ورح ناخد examples لكل واحد وتعريف كل واحد لحتى نفهم أكتر. Or they can be classified based on their structure. There are different types of sentence structure. We have simple sentences, complex, compound, and no compound complex. So we can classify sentences based on these two things, yeah, their function or their structure. A group of words that contains a subject and a verb is called a clause. It can be a complete sentence on its own, an independent clause. Independent clause meaning this sentence has a complete idea, الفكرة واصلة كاملة مكملة, all on its own. It doesn't need help from anyone else or anything else. Okay, ما مش نستنى حدا يجي يساعدنا أو كلمة ينضاف من هون أو من هون. كاملة مكملة الجملة. This would be your independent clause. Or a group of words that need additional words to express a complete thought. هاد بحال فكرتنا مش كاملة مكملة. We need a bit more help to get our point across or our idea across. This would be considered a dependent or subordinate clause. من كلمة dependent or subordinate يعني
تعتمد على حدا.
أيوة بده يعتمد على حدا أو على إشي تاني. Meanwhile, independent, the independent clause doesn't need anybody else. They're good all on their own, you know? And we have the Bismillah. The sentences based on functions or classified by functions. First, we have declarative sentences. اللي هو زي كيف من كلمة declare. When you declare something or make a declaration, you're essentially stating something. You are making a statement. We use declarative sentences every day as they allow us to make statements, سواء كانوا affirmative or negative, provide explanations, and share information. In order to write a declarative sentence, you need to structure it in direct order as follows: subject, verb, object. Here are some common phrases in the affirmative form. I practice yoga every morning, for example. I would be our subject. Practice would be our verb. Yoga would be our object. And every morning, what is every morning in this case? Do we know? Every morning is our adverbial. اللي هو الإشي الزيادة مش بحاجته، إحنا حابين نزيده أهلا وسهلا بس مش ضروري. We could have said I practice yoga ونهينا الجملة هون. It would be correct. There's nothing wrong with this sentence. ما فيه أي شيء غلط أو ناقص. بس نفترض إحنا حبينا we want to give a bit more information. How often do I practice yoga? I practice yoga every morning. وبما إنه we're answering the question how often, يعني إيش every morning تحديدا is an adverb. مش قلنا adverbs they give us information like this. She is writing a letter to her grandma. She is our subject. Is writing would be our predicate, our verb. A letter would be our direct object. Preposition to. Her grandma, indirect object. We will go to the university tomorrow. Again, we've got our sentence structured subject, verb, object. دايما نفس الترتيب. إيش ما ينزاد بعد انتوا حرين. For example, here we had an adverbial. She's writing a letter to her grandma. Here we had two objects, direct and then indirect. بس المهم كيف الترتيب subject, verb, object يضل. هلا the word order in negative sentences is also direct. In order to show negation, you need to add the particle not. Also, there's always an auxiliary verb in a negative sentence. ما فينا يكون عندنا negative sentence من دون كلمة not ومن دون helping verb. And the particle not is always connected to it. يعني إيش؟ You're always going to have the word not لزق على طول ب your helping verb. Okay? إذا في بينهم مساحة كلام يعني في إشي غلط بجملتكم. For example, I do not practice yoga every morning. Here we have do not. Do would be our helping verb, not is what makes it negative. احنا هون عرفنا من كلمة not من شو؟ يعني it's negative, نفي. And practice is our main verb. She did not call her parents last night. Again, our helping verb is always hand in hand. Oopsie. Is always hand in hand with our negative not, the particle not. We do not have classes tomorrow. Again, نفس الإشي. They are always together. ما بزبط نفرقهم. Next, we have our interrogative sentences. زي كلمة interrogation. Do we know what it means to interrogate someone? Say interrogate or interrogation. Do we know what this means? If I'm interrogating someone, what am I doing? إيش عم بعمل if I'm interrogating someone?
تستفسري يعني ولا شو؟
زي استفسر قريب زي تحقيق هو فعليا زي كأني قاعدة بسأل أنا. So interrogative sentences هم they are our sentences in which we form questions. If we're asking a question بالاعتبار it is an interrogative sentence. هلا إيش when we're speaking you can always understand the question when speaking. Adding an interrogative intonation and a question mark at the end are not enough to form a proper question in the English language. When constructing questions, you need to use the indirect word order. هلا لما أنا بدي أسأل سؤال ما بزبط الأوردر تاعتي يكون subject verb object. بدي يكون the indirect word order. إيش يعني؟ يعني our subject and our predicate are reversed نعكسهم. However, only a part of the predicate stands at the beginning of a sentence اللي هو which part? The auxiliary verb. The main verb still stands after the subject. يعني إيش؟ مش إحنا ترتيبنا subject verb object راح يضل subject verb object بس إيش راح يتغير؟ Our verb راح نكسرها. مش our verb اللي هو our predicate بيكون main verb وبيكون عندنا helping verb. Where's plus? كيف صارت الترتيب بحال أنا عم بسأل سؤال؟ I start with my helping verb. Then I go on normally subject بكملها طبيعي عادي subject verb object. بس إيش الشرط؟ I have to start with my helping verb if it's a question. For example, do you have classes tomorrow? Here we have our helping verb بعدين التكملة طبيعي subject verb object. Are you writing a letter? We've got our helping verb are subject verb object. Are you writing a letter? Can you please tell me your email address? Again, we're starting with a helping verb.
helping verb.
أيوة وبنكملها طبيعي. Can you please tell me your email address? Subject verb object. Good afternoon. هلا good afternoon هاد بالاعتبار is this our helping verb?
هي تحية وبعدين بتبلشي can I have
أيوة
a cup
very
of coffee.
good. Perfect, thank you.
مم.
Good afternoon هاد مجرد it's a greeting مش أكتر. Good
مم.
afternoon. Can I have a cup of coffee? هلا مثلا لو بلشت على طول I have a cup of coffee. Is this a question? I have a cup of coffee. حتى لو مثلا نبرتي نبرة سؤال. I have a cup of coffee. صح ولا؟ It's a
لا مش ظابطة.
صح؟ When I say I have a cup of coffee إيش يعني؟ What am I saying؟
yes يعني إنه أنا معي.
أيوة أنا معي كاسة قهوة.
يعني هي statement يعني أنت عم تحكيها كجملة مش تستأذني إنه يعني تاخدي قهوة.
أيوة exactly. Thank you. You can also add question words to the interrogative questions. In that case, you place the question at the beginning of the sentence and then follow with the typical interrogative structure. هلا هدول إيش? These are all yes or no questions. Do you have classes tomorrow? You could say yes. Are you writing a letter? No. Can you please tell me your email address? No. Good afternoon. Can I have a cup of coffee? Yes. بس بهذا الحال where is the nearest ATM؟ بظبط أجاوب yes.
لا هذا إيش بسموها open answer ولا لا إيش بسموها إنه هي تجاوبي بجملة.
You're being asked a question that is not a yes or no question بالمعنى. I'm not sure if it's called open answer. So where's the nearest ATM؟ جوابك بده يكون عبارة عن مثلا oh it's next to the gas station for example right up ahead لقدام شوي عند الكزية. بس كيف بيصفي تغيير structure هنا؟ بدنا نبلش our question word which would be here where in this case where بعدين بنكملها helping verb and we've got our subject. We don't really have a verb here or an object. Where is the nearest ATM? How are you doing? This one is a bit more clear. How are you doing? How is our question or question word? Are would be our helping verb. You subject doing verb. How are you doing? هلا in colloquial speech اللي جبنا سيرته قبل شوي what is colloquial speech؟
اللهجة العامية اللغة العامية.
أيوة اللغة العامية. In colloquial speech or informal writing, an interrogative sentence can start with a subject. For example, when followed by a tag question. يعني فينا نحكيها كstatement بالمعنى زي كأنه it's a declarative sentence. بس إيش بنزيد عليها؟ A tag
كلمة
question.
تانا سؤال.
أيوة. You practice yoga every morning. لو نهيناها هون it's a statement. You could put a period here and I'm stating something. You practice yoga every morning. بس إحنا دائما نعملها statement. comma, right? نفس الإشي بالعربي by the way. فيني أحكي إنه بدل ما أسألك هل أنتي بتروحي على الشغل كل يوم؟ فيني إيش أجي أحكي؟ أنتي بتروحي على الشغل كل يوم صح؟ For example. In daily life, you can come across many casual interrogative expressions that don't look like a full sentence. For example, I'm going to work tomorrow. And you? Because it's casual, it's colloquial, you can add it on like this. And you, انت مش ضروري ترجعوا تحكوا what about or what are you doing tomorrow? And you. Is everything clear من ناحية interrogative sentences?
هم بس واضحين بس عناوينهم صعبة، يعني هو مفهوم بس الاسم تبعها للجملة.
أقول لك أنا مش ضروري الاسم، أنا
يعني
المهم تعرفوا تطبقوا. أنا ما بيهمني تكونوا عارفين أسامي القواعد. in day to day life ما راح يجي حدا إلا مثلا لو أنتوا هدفكم academic هيك غير، بس هدفكم you just want to learn the language for the sake of speaking. ما راح يجي حدا in day to day life يسأل the sentence you just used, what is the function, what is it called? No one cares. المهم إنه صحيحة قواعديا. أو مثلا ما حدا راح يجي يحكي what you just said, this has to do with subject verb agreement, right? No one cares.
بالضبط، بس يعني عشان هيك إنه أول مرة بسمعهم.
هو يعني ممكن الكلمات
بس
هيك
كتطبيق إنه سهل، يعني إنه عم واضحين.
أنا بيهمني التطبيق، ما بيهمني الاسم. هلا we have our exclamatory sentences من كلمة exclamation زي exclamation mark.
يعني أنا متعرفة.
أيوة, as the name suggests, these sentences end with an exclamation mark, express emotions, and are usually used in greetings, rallying cries. هلا rallying cries زي اللي بنسمعها وقت المظاهرات. The cheer that people do, the chant, you know. For example, if we chanted من النهر إلى البحر, for example, this would be a rallying cry. لما تسمع هيك بالمظاهرات يضلهم يعيدوا الشغلة, this is a rallying cry. Or warnings, بحال بدكم تحذروا حدا. Sometimes they form short exclamatory phrases, and sometimes the only thing that distinguishes them يعني بيفرقهم أو بيميزهم from declarative sentences is the punctuation at the end. For example, good morning. Good morning مش ضروري يكون في exclamation mark صح؟ كان فينا نحط period. Good morning. But when I add this exclamation mark, what do I mean? ما عم بحكي good morning. أنا عم بحكي good morning with emotion. Here we have attention. Do not enter. Again, there is emotion involved. Attention طبيعي يجي وراه an exclamation mark. Do not enter. We could have traded the exclamation mark for a period. بس إيش when we say it with an exclamation mark إحنا بدنا نوصل this is something full of emotion. Attention, do not enter. Like if you saw a little kid about to put his hand on the space heater, for example, or on the stove, الغاز. You don't want him to burn his hand. ما بتحكوا don't touch it. ما بتحكوا don't touch it. You say don't touch it. Where is our exclamation mark? You're going to say don't touch it. هيك بيهبب صراخ بإيموشن.
معناته هاي بتعتمد على التون اوف فويس، يعني ما بتقدري تحذريها بالكتابة. يعني
هلا
مثلا
عشان ما
بتقولي good
بنقدر
morning
نكتبها بكتابة we have our exclamation mark.
تمام بالضبط، يعني بس قصدي هلا لو أعطيتيني إياها بكويز أنا مش سامعتك كيف عم تحكي، بالتالي هذا بيعتمد على إنه كيف طريقة الحكي، عرفتي tone of voice. بس وجودها بيدل على إنها exclamatory sentence بس.
هلا انت you
فهمتي
decide.
علي؟
إذا انت كتبتي جملة period انت you've insinuated عم بتلمحي إنه your tone of voice طبيعي don't touch it. لما تكتبي جملتك with an exclamation mark انت بدك توصلي
بالضبط.
the tone of voice يعني فيها
مهم.
emotion.
بالكتابة.
ايوه في
مم.
تعجب.
مهم.
عشان هيك احنا بنحكي امرات ما بيفرق شيء بين ال exclamatory sentence وال declarative sentence غير ال punctuation اللي عم نستعمله.
مم.
or let's say بدك تحذروه, you want to warn him, you're going to burn yourself. When I'm saying you're going to burn yourself يعني هون we have a period, you're going to burn yourself. أشوف إيده أجا بده يحرق حاله, you're going to burn yourself. I'm going to add my exclamation mark.
Excellent.
عشان حتى بحال حدا عم بقرأ they know that there is emotion involved.
مم.
Let's say you got a text, أجاكم a text from a friend. I'm upset with you. Period. And I'm upset with you. Where's the exclamation mark? وين راحت؟ والله هلا كانت هنا. For the sake of not wasting time looking for the exclamation mark, I'm going to draw it. I'm upset with you. Exclamation mark.
Mm.
So there is I'm upset with you, and there is I'm upset with you. أني فيها emotion أكتر. حتى
ثانية.
لو قرأتوه over text.
مم. مم.
When you see an exclamation mark تعرفوا والله هذا في زعل عن جد عليه معاتبة عن جد. When you see the period, it's like, oh, maybe I can call this person. We can talk it out. And also we have it's a beautiful day. Again, we have our exclamation marks. So we're not saying it's a beautiful day. We're saying it's a beautiful day. You know, we're adding emotion in the way that we're speaking.
Mm.
Or even when we're reading, we're doing it with emotion. هلا عنا exclamatory sentences that we can begin with question words, okay? And these are considered to be rhetorical. يعني سؤال بلا جواب, عرفتوا المبدأ? For example,
Mm.
how, what, may, these are often used in English to express delight, joy, sadness, resentment, and other emotions. Say it's a form of exaggeration, تبالغ بالمعنى. These words always stand at the beginning of a sentence and the following words are placed in indirect order. كيف أقول لكم إياه؟ هلا how on its own I'm actually asking the question. How are you, for example? This is a question. But when I say how thoughtful of you, meaning I'm exaggerating. What a beautiful day. لما أجي أحكي what a beautiful day أنا ما عم بستنى حدا يجي يحكي لي يعني ماشي حاله مش كتير. أنا ما عم بسأل. أنا عم بحكي. It's a statement but in an exaggerated way. ممكن نقرب example we can hit closer to home. فكروا فيها بالعربي. مثلا you saw a cute kid. شو حلو. انتوا ما عم تسألوا إذا الطفل حلو. You are stating this. عم تحكوا الطفل حلو. بس بكلمة هذا
لما
الشيء
بنتخانق
حلو.
نتخانق مع حدا بنقول له أنت مجنون، يعني ما
I like it.
بستناش يرد علي يعني.
I know this is a rhetorical question,
مم.
for example.
مم.
أو مثلا إنه حدا someone is rude. شو وقح. ما عم بستنى يحكي لي والله أنا وقح. I'm
صح.
exaggerating. عم ببالغ عن جد إنه شو وقح. Same thing in English. عندنا نفس المبدأ in English. We can start our exclamatory sentence with a question or a question word الأحرى, but it doesn't mean that we're actually asking a question. هدفنا to exaggerate. هلا we have our imperative sentences اللي هم they're used for commands. لما أنا بدي أأمر حدا, this would be an imperative sentence. So imperative sentences express a command to do something, make a request, provide instructions or advice. But even when you're making a request, ما بيكون بصيغة سؤال. You're not asking for permission. وهلأ راح نشوف examples. They can be affirmative or negative, but they do not contain a subject. ليش ما عندنا subject? The reader understands that the action is directed to them. بيكون usually we're directly speaking to the person, so we don't need a subject. And imperative sentences can, we have a typo here. Oh, I need to fix this in the slides. Can end with an E, can end with a period or an exclamation mark, depending on the urgency of the thought. حسب إيش؟ إحنا بنقرر إذا إشي إحنا حابين يعني we consider it urgent أو إشي we want to show more emotion إشي مبالغ فيه we would end it with an exclamation mark. إذا إشي عادي a period. For example, here are some simple phrases in the imperative form. Talk louder, please. هلا here, by the way, زي ما قلنا إنه I'm giving orders بس بطريقة لطيفة ما عم بطلب طلب. I'm making a request. So talk louder, please. أنا عم بستأذن at any point. Am I asking the person in front of me إذا فيهم يوطوا صوتهم أو يحكوا بصوت أوطى؟ Yes, no?
بس هيدي إيش حكيتي؟
هلا قلنا إيش we use imperative sentences for commands to make a request or provide instructions or advice. بس بدنا نركز إنه بفكرة make a request هو مش استئذان request. بيكون إنه يعني الكمان
بس
هي
بأدب.
بس بالشكل لطيف. So for example, talk louder please. هون في استئذان بالموضوع. Are we asking or are we
لا هون
demanding?
طلب لأنه بيطلب منه إنه يعلي صوته.
أيوة هون إحنا فعليا عم نأمر بس بطريقة لطيفة زدنا عليها please يعني there's a period يعني إحنا بنحكي بهدوء. مش talk louder with an exclamation mark مع exclamation mark with an exclamation point. مش إنه عم بصرخ بالقبالي يلا علي صوتك. And I just noticed أنا لخبطت. I was describing as if it was lower your voice, not talk louder. Listen to me carefully. Again, it's not optional. يعني listen to me carefully. I'm giving you instructions. I'm telling you what to do. اسمعيني منيح. Let's go for a walk. I'm excited. Hey, let's go for a walk. Again, it's not really a question. أنا بقولك يلا قومي نتمشى. Let's go for a walk. And finally, we have mind your own business. Mind your own business فيه ينفهم بطريقين. There's the normal way. ممكن أنا عم بنصح صاحبيتي عم بتقولي عن مشكلة بدها تتدخل فيه. أحكي لها you know what maybe it would be better for you to mind your own business. ممكن يكون أحسن إلك لو ضليتك بحالك. أنا عم بنصحها نصيحة صحبات بين بعض. وممكن أشوف إيش mind your own business by the way إنه إيش فعليا بمعنى خليك بحالك. خليك مشغول بأمورك أنت. هلأ ممكن أشوف حدا someone is talking to me they're telling me what to do with my life عم بيتدخلوا بأموري بالمعنى ممكن أجي أصرخ فيهم mind your own business بالمعنى إيش تتدخلش. So there are
طب هون
two
حطي exclamation mark هون بتصير أحلى.
أيوة I would add my exclamation mark mind your own business. أنا صفيت عم ببهدل ما تتدخلش you know mind your own business. ففيه ينفهم طريقين mind your own business طريقة لطيفة وطريقة